Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For those people who don't know me, I'm Wayne Perinchief, previous Member of Parliament, and at one time I was responsible for the Workforce Equity Bill being implemented. I speak directly to Dr. Hodson for ratification. The Workforce Equity Bill was policy for about 4 years, and the PLP did formulate it to ensure that Bermudians with qualifications got employment within the international business sector. That bill was approved by PLP caucus. It was approved by the cabinet of the Progressive Labour Party, and it actually went to draft. It was stopped by the leadership of the PLP just after 2007, rather arbitrarily, when Aber and ABEC made advances to the Progressive Labour Party leadership, and the bill was withdrawn. That bill laid out a blueprint for the employment for Bermudians. It didn't have penalties or quotas. It quite simply said that an inspectorate would be appointed to look at the makeup of the workforce in the international businesses, and they would be encouraged and assisted in employing Bermudians. They would be able to go to Bermuda College, help Bermudians to get jobs, and so forth. I look around here tonight and I see not many of my colleagues. I know Mr. Butler's in the house. I spoke to him earlier. Who else? And Dr. Brown may want to have something to say about the Workforce Equity Bill and why it wasn't pursued. It's interesting. I was going to make a point, and I'm going to make that point, that I believe that the people's movement is now at the point where it should form the nucleus of what is becoming not just a political movement, but a political party. Movements generally, political movements generally, are formed to deal with one issue, and rather that when that issue is resolved, they generally either dissipate or move on, or if they take on a broader base of protest or whatever, conversion, they then become or migrate into a political party. What I have not seen, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, is the people's movement moving past what I see, the two unions, and Dr. Tweed, who represents the church. I would hope, and I do propose, that it have a broader leadership base so that what happened, almost happened the other day, Reverend Dr. Tweed was almost removed from our presence. That would have left a three-legged table with only two legs. We all know what happens when our leaders are pulled from us. Our organizations fall. It's a specific strategy. We know that Brother Hayward has been sued. Good Reverend Doctor has been threatened with expulsion from the country. And Brother Chris has been threatened so many times, I think is probably, it's become like the Teflon Don. Nevertheless, I say it with all seriousness that the people's movement, if it's going to be here to stay, has to broaden its leadership base in order to be more sustainable. And I'm certain that some people, such as myself and others, will be willing to, are willing to step forward and put some weight behind it. I want to deal with the issue of jobs, the economy, and the tax base of this country. We thrash around looking for revenue. The $250 million that's needed for the airport could quite easily be found if we were taxing the corporate sector, international corporate sector, just 1% of net, like most other jurisdictions do. In fact, Ireland reduced their tax base from 10% to 6.5%. They were making so much money, and recently they were chastised because they didn't tax Apple. And the European Union actually forced them to take back and collect $14 billion of tax that the EU said was owable to Ireland. I'm not going to go on too much, except to say that the February 3rd, everybody's gearing up for February 3rd to no doubt see a repeat of what happened December 3rd, it was? 2nd? December 2nd. I would simply advise people that all of you here, the People's Movement, and all those people who participated then, have done a yeoman's task in protesting this airport effort, this airport by the OBA. What I would urge is that the People's Movement get our political party, the Progressive Labour Party, to come out clearly and state what their positions are going to be on that. I know that the politicians were locked out of Parliament. They have not been provided all the information for the airport deal. How can they go to Parliament and debate it if they haven't had the information? We've had a select group who are now, what they call them, the Blue Ribbon Group or whatever?
Blue Ribbon Panel.
Who?
Blue Ribbon Panel.
Blue Ribbon Group, right, whatever. Who've been given privileged information that our own parliamentarians have not been given. How ludicrous and ridiculous is that? So why would our parliamentarians, especially the Progressive, my party, the Progressive Labour Party, go to Parliament on February the 3rd to debate a matter that they don't have all the information on? Why give credibility to an illegal process? Why give credence to it? I believe that they need to be urged. The PLP needs to be urged and educated in strategy. You don't go to Parliament just to have a talk shop. So all of us here who vote PLP, talk to your politician and tell them to boycott that session. And when the matter's raised, walk out. Leave it alone. Let the OBA pass that bill without the participation of the loyal opposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments.